Dean Blas, welcome to the podcast, bro.
Yes, man.
Yes, I feel like it's been a long time. Like this has been a long time coming. I've only known you over social media,
Yeah.
and it's so weird the way Guam works that way right now. Like it's not. We live in a time where it's not odd to only know someone in that social media realm, and maybe like when you see them out, you're like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we can finally like make this happen and sit down. One thing that I've always known you for was your art. As I feel like it's nothing we've ever seen, at least here. It's very unique. That it feels like fuck, I don't even know how to describe it, honestly.
Yeah.
How would you describe your art?
I would say that I wouldn't really know how to describe it. I would just say it's kind of making use of what I have around me. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say I actually go out there and seek certain things and make a list of supplies or material or images.
Just
You know,
pull
I
that
kinda just
closer to you. Yeah, just pull it
Hello?
closer to you.
Hello?
Yeah, no, there you
Yeah,
go.
I kind of just, just anything that catches my eye. Like if it's the collage work, I'll just kind of have an idea of what I want
There,
to do.
collage.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I was looking
then
for.
I'll pull like different bits and pieces, and
But there's a theme to it. There's an obvious theme to it,
Yeah,
right? To
yeah.
what you sort of, maybe the message you put out, or
Mhm.
or the elements that you utilize to express that message.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I usually draw those, man, from just like maybe something that I experienced through the day, like a song lyric, song that's been on repeat all day, memories and stuff, so just using, of course, the art as a way to express myself, and maybe get like, I wouldn't necessarily say a message out, but I'm always looking to connect people with like a certain idea or like spark something.
Right.
So maybe that's why I try and throw like so many different things in there, so maybe they can see one thing and then they connect with it, and then they take it from there. So
Where does that sort of all start for you, at least? Getting in touch with your inner self, right? Because for me, man, I think I was about 17 or 18
Yeah.
when I started writing poetry, and then it turned into writing music and sort of expressing myself in that way and being vulnerable, right?
yeah,
In order to be sort of like an artist, you have to be able to be vulnerable with
yeah.
yourself.
That's really true. I would say I probably did start that path with artwork more towards high school for me,
Just try talking like into it. There.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
There we
move
go.
it. Go ahead and.
Okay.
Yeah, it's flexible.
There we
for
go.
sure.
I don't want to like grab
No,
it.
grab it, dude. Adjust it to however you need.
Okay. Well, I think it was probably high school, because there's maybe to say there's like a lot of things that I went through as a kid, and my middle school years that I didn't necessarily have a way to express or let people know.
Is that me? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
How rude. That's me.
No, it's all
That's me. Oh shit. Sorry.
No
My phone's connected to my computer, so
Dang, that's technology.
my bad.
now.
Technology,
Yeah,
right? God, we're
that's
always
crazy.
connected.
Like, what?
Ah.
Yo, I had one of those Samsung TVs and then a
Okay.
Samsung phone, and I was just so stoked that I can connect my phone to my TV and like
And use it
watch
as a
the
remote?
shit on there. Yeah,
Oh,
use
watch
the remote
from-
and like watch things, and I'm like tripping out, like what the heck,
You
I'm
don't
like
have to pause it. You like throw it to your phone and go use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go take a shit
Yep,
and never stop watching.
yep. Like
But I think that's a purpose, right?
yeah, it's crazy. I'm late to the game, so like all these things that you can do now with technology, I'm like finally starting to experience it, and it's like blowing me away,
It's crazy, bro.
But then when I go and tell like my girlfriend, she's like, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" And I'm like, "Oh no."
imagine
You know?
Instagram was only 2012,
Yeah,
6 years
Yeah.
ago, when that came out. I went over to the Google headquarters. We'll go back to what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
no
I
worries.
went over to the Google headquarters,
Mhm.
and the way the system is there, man. I mean, you literally, they keep you on that. They have everything there to keep you there
yeah,
and never stop working. Wow. The food is free.
Ooh.
Free, dude, free. You literally,
yeah.
My friend's like, you want a smoothie? I was like, sure. Like, stand in line. Then it's like a long line. You walk up, get your smoothie off the table, walk away. Ooh. And he's like, I'm telling my smoothie, yeah, let's go over here. And I was like, bro, we can't enjoy this.
That fast.
I love you, man. I know, it's, yeah, dude. I gave him shit for that. I was like, bro, you guys are constantly moving.
Oh, I bet, man.
And he said that people actually live on the outskirts of the campus in RVs because it's getting so expensive to live in Silicon Valley or in the Bay Area. And so people would buy RVs and then just live out there. And so you're literally like a skateboard's ride away or a bike ride away from work. Yeah. Or the end of the parking lot.
Wow. Yeah. That would be pretty neat though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just live right outside, rollerblade into work. You know what I mean? Just rollerblade right to your seat and just sit down.
Scooter my way in.
Yeah. That'd be super cool. Yeah.
So. Before my phone rudely disturbed us.
Okay.
School, art.
Oh yeah. Art. So I would say like high school is, it's just like one of those times, well, for me personally, that I needed to maybe, get rid of some thoughts, you know what I mean? Or like things that were like, I was holding out like on the inside and.
Like anger or it was like a little bit of everything?
Like everything.
Being a teen, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
like everything, because, you're going through a lot. You're like learning about new things. Yeah. Your girlfriend's dumping you.
Your body's changing.
Yeah, for us, you're getting hair in the fat. You know what I'm saying? It's like freaking you out and shit. Like, but, and art was like, at first when I started, I was just doing shit like drawing Wolverine like 24/7 and like comic book characters, but I was like, how am I, I still have like all this like stuff on the inside and not necessarily bad stuff, right, you know what I mean? But that's when I started to, maybe get a little more creative with the things that I was doing.
Was it like a self-nurturing, or did someone help nurture, what they saw potential in you? Yeah. In any way?
I would say a little bit of both, because I had a lot of friends that were artists and they taught me a lot of things. And then the high school that I went to, man, I was taking like 3 art classes towards the end. And all of my art teachers were like the best people ever, even just outside of art and teaching you, they would talk with you, help you with a lot of things. Right. It's like one of those things, like if I wasn't feeling well, they would let me kind of like hang out in their classroom, just write me like a little excuse slip, So I would say that the influence from them was a big part of it. But then, when I left art, I had to kind of keep it going. You know what I mean? So whatever I learned through them or whatever influence I had from there, I didn't just let it like die down. Right. Those things, I made sure I practice it on the outside too. So, I think it's like half, like you're going to have people that are going to support you, but at the same time too, you kind of have to.
You have to learn when to nurture it yourself.
Yeah, you have to make an effort to also kind of like, push yourself to do things too.
Right. I think when an artist realizes that moment, you no longer become. Your style starts coming into play.
Yeah.
It's no longer according to how someone else sees your art.
Yeah.
It's how you want to see your art.
Yeah. Yep. So. Yeah, I would say high school is when I started to really focus. And then I actually quit doing a lot of artwork out of high school. And I would say that I probably only really started to get back into it. Let me see, I graduated high school 2004.
Okay.
And then
you're younger. I mean, you're younger.
And then I probably only started to really get back into art like 2000, maybe 10. Okay. You know what I mean? That whole time I didn't do like anything at all. And then it was actually here on Guam, and the Opaque store opened. And then I guess they were making the canvases out of that shop. And somebody bought me like a canvas, and then I was like so hyped. Like, I saw all the art that they were doing and I kind of to express that, like maybe I'll start doing stuff again. And then, I had supplies and, just at my work, I just started to paint and everything like that. So it was like a big painting of like Fat Buddha that I did. So it was a while before then, but
yeah, by that time when we're in our 20s, it's like you either do it or you don't do it.
Yeah.
They're forcing yourself to like love it, but you know, that's where we learn to sort of be passionate. I mean, sure, passion comes way sooner too, but to like really own it, I think it's when we're more understanding of ourselves and the way our minds and our bodies and emotions work. I've been writing music since I was 18. I've been a singer since I was a kid. You know, I love to sing.
That's super cool.
And not writing music, but writing songs and stuff like that. And then I kind of ran with it, dude. And you know, it helped me figure out who I was inside. You know, instead of trying to depend on maybe like someone else or a group of people to kind of shape my personality or how I see the world. Right? Because we can easily be veiled maybe to certain perspectives based on the people we surround ourselves with, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. And I think that especially now you have so many outside sources trying to tell you like what it is, you know what I mean? Like if you go on like Facebook, right, or like Twitter, social media, you know, there's always like these posts like 10 ways to like keep a happy relationship or like 10 ways or things you should do to keep your girlfriend happy or 5 steps that every artist has to do, you know, and
8 things for relationships on the rocks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that reading those things are like helpful, you know, but at the same time too, I don't think that it's like the answer because, you know, I believe like everybody's different, you know, and I think everybody's going to find like their fit and their way of doing things. And I think when you have all these outside sources, like kind of like putting you in a certain path, I think it's like kind of harder to find your way like that, you know what I mean? Like I can read a guide about like love and relationships, you know, on Facebook, but then like my girlfriend is totally different from that, you know what I mean? So if I try those things, she's gonna be like, what? I'm not feeling that, you know what I mean? Like my girl,
who are you?
I always tell people like my girlfriend's from Agate, bro, you know what I mean? She's crazy. I don't know if these Facebook tips are gonna work, you know? And I've been with her for a bit, so maybe, you know, maybe I'm doing okay. Maybe it's okay for me to be confident in what I've been doing so far, you know, instead of having somebody saying like, no, you should do it like this.
Yeah, and things like that sort of causes people to second guess themselves.
Yeah,
right?
They do.
It's like, oh man, do I really need to do this? And it's somebody said it. Gosh, it's a quote. See if you can find that quote, Matt. Someone said social media was intended to empower each other, but we ended up comparing ourselves to each other. I think it was Bill Murray that said that, if I'm not mistaken.
That's super true, man.
You know, and
super true.
Every day you're looking at people who are, oh my God, they're sexy.
Yeah.
You know? They're nice. That's a cool car.
Yeah.
You know, look at that. I want to be in a private plane.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Me, I get excited for business class. I'm like, business class. And it's not even like business class. It's like extended legroom business class.
Yeah, for us. That's what I'm saying. I'm just happy to be on a plane, man. You know? I'm just happy to pay a ticket, you know? Shit, I'm just happy to make money.
It's very true,
you know?
man. So imagine the people who came here, right, to Guam, back in the ancient days, rode their canoes, and they're like, everyone wanted to stay, but they're like, oh shit, I want to get out of here. And then the Spanish showed up. They're like, can I go with you?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this is just the way it is. And it took much longer for you to get to another place than it is now. Like literally 8 hours you're in Hawaii.
Yep.
You know, 3 hours you're in Japan, which before was probably like a few months on a boat.
Yeah.
Waiting for the wind, hopefully you don't get into a typhoon in the process.
That's true. Because I would say that's actually, everybody's like, man, Dean, how come you haven't like traveled or like competed off island? And I'm just like, I don't want to admit that like I'm scared of flying. You know what I mean?
Really?
That's like one of my fears, man.
Oh my
like I'll
goodness.
do it.
You're missing out.
But like when I fly, I'm like sitting up like straight. You know what I mean?
I have
like,
a friend who cannot sit down
yeah.
during airplane flights. He'll stand up for the whole entire, from the moment the seatbelt sign goes ding, he's like click. He'll walk up and he'll walk next to the door and he'll just chill.
Yeah.
And one time I saw him on a flight, I was like, bro, this is my second time coming to the bathroom and you're still here. Bro, I can't sit down, bro.
Yeah, because
this ain't my shit, bro.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Forgot I have a friend.
Yeah, that too. And then it's like what was it? It was a old episode of The Twilight Zone. And then like the dude's like riding in a plane, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think they're like going through a storm, and then he looks out and there's like something on the wing of the plane and it's like beating the shit out of the wing. And I was so young at the time, but it just fucking scared me, dude. And I had like nightmares, you know? So like the first trip I remember actually coming back to Guam, you know, I was like a little kid trying to plead with my mom, like, oh, can I just stay with like auntie so-and-so?
Where were you staying prior?
I was living in Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah. I was there until about, until I was like, I think like maybe 11 years old.
Okay. You were born and raised out there?
I was born here.
Born here.
And then we moved out to Washington State, I think when I was like 2 years old, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And then
I'm opposite. I was born in Tennessee, and then I moved here when I was 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my dad was in the Army.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of living in Washington State. And it's a super cool place, man. And I think that's probably one of the places that really, like, kind of fed my creative side, too.
I can imagine.
Because there's, like, you know, there's, like, a lot of nature out there.
Right.
There's a lot of culture.
Yeah, the grunge scene came out.
Oh, yeah. Too. Yeah, dude, the grunge scene. Like, if you go out to Seattle, you know, it's like a crazy place. It's like at the time, I don't know what's still there, but there's, like, the Science Museum. And you can go in there and, like, play with like Legos and shit, you know, and like there's like dinosaurs, like big robotic dinosaurs, and I was so amazed by those things when I was little.
You know, of all the states that I've been to in the West Coast, those Oregon and Washington are the only ones I've never been to.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Do you have to go, man? You have to go.
I mean, the only thing I've known about Washington was the Seattle Mariners. You know, Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Johnson, Jim Thome, those days.
Yep. The
Supersonics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Supersonic.
Yeah. And then what do I call it? The monster trucks.
Monster trucks.
Yeah, they had like monster trucks.
That's where it came out of?
I don't know if it came out there, but it was like a big thing out there.
Okay.
So I was like, those are one of the things that I was into.
Monster trucks were big in Arizona.
Dude, I love monster trucks, bro. Yeah. Like the Gravedigger truck.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I like, you know, had the T-shirts, you know, like the little like cars, the remote control cars. Like, I love.
But going to a monster truck rally, isn't something that you can just simply explain to somebody, right? And for them to understand, it's almost like watching NASCAR. It's like,
yeah,
the fuck you go watch NASCAR for?
Yeah,
but NASCAR, it's all about the experience, feeling the engines as they're passing. Roar through your. That's what I've been told. It's like roaring through your body. Right?
Yeah, those are crazy. So yeah, Washington State's a cool place, man. I think everybody should at least make a trip out of it at least once. You know? So
you moved back to Guam. You moved to Guam when you were 11.
Yeah, we moved back here for I think it was about a year and a half, and I went to school. I did middle school. I went to Antillon, and then I think that's when Typhoon Paka hit. And so we were out of school for a little bit, and then we ended up
little bit.
Yeah, or like you know,
a lot of
months.
Like
yeah, dude.
4 months.
Yep. Oh, I was just thinking, because you know, with the typhoon that just hit, Saipan, you know, shout out to them, man. But I was just thinking, like, as like a little kid, you know, having like no power, you know, utilities gone, and I would probably say it wasn't really that hard on me as a kid, you know, because we didn't have, you know, the things that kids have nowadays. And shit, when you got out of school, you went inside to just throw your bag on the floor, you know, because you were already like back outside playing with your homies and everything. Right. So
you didn't even make it into the door yet. Yeah. It was like from the door, you threw it into the kitchen.
Yeah, for reals. Maybe, you know, use the restroom real quick or whatever, but you know, you just
No, you're peeing on the way to the run.
Yeah, man. You know, I was like, we spent like no time inside. So
For sure.
I was trying to think of what my experience was, and all I remember was just being outside, the family cooking outside, you know what I mean? Everybody eating together and going to sleep, and it just repeating till one day the power came back on. It was like one night it came back on, and then it was like no biggie. You know, I was like, oh, the power's on.
Yeah.
But then, you know, tomorrow you're just doing the same shit, like playing outside, you know, so it's like nothing.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, we were kids too, right?
Yep.
No responsibilities. Now,
Right.
when the typhoon hit last month,
Yeah.
you know, like came through, I was like, we were at a birthday party, and I was like, we shouldn't be here. We should go get gas.
Yeah.
We need batteries.
Yep.
We need canned goods.
Yeah, man.
And like, I'm like stressing out.
Yep.
You know, my girlfriend's like, what's wrong? I was like, we need to go.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's gonna be anything at the store, you know.
Dude.
But yeah, I think it's like the sense of being a kid, because my experience was, I shared the same experience as you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I mean, I fucking grew up playing with spiders outside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those take the banana spiders and pull the web as long as you can until they have no more web, and then they shrivel up and die. I don't know what happens after that.
To throw bugs onto the spider web. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't want to offend anybody nowadays, you know, if that hurts somebody's feelings.
Insect lovers.
We used to catch bugs and like throw them onto the webbing just to watch the spider come out and like
you ever
roll
take
it up.
the grasshopper's legs, hoppers off the grasshopper?
No, I've never
You catch the baby grasshoppers and you just catch it, and then you hold it and you just pull the legs off, and then it's just walking around like just it's not even a grasshopper, it's a grass walker.
We have to cut the word baby grasshopper out. They were adult grasshoppers, okay? They
were baby, but I was a baby too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch the big grasshopper. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Plus, that was like 20 years ago. You can't get me for that.
That's true, right? That's true. Oh man.
No, but simpler times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Simpler times, simpler pleasures.
Yeah.
And today we're just so attached to technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just telling you earlier, if any of this gets damaged, I'm just like crying already. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yep.
my power play, you know.
Yep.
It's like it's a different world.
Yeah, it is. It is. But that's just the that's just the evolution of things.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it to me.
Oh, not at all.
I think as people we can still, preserve like the core values just in life overall and enjoy like all this cool shit too. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So, but people just have to put in some work, to spread those values and to help each other out with it. But you know what I mean? I like this kind of stuff, man. Like,
Yeah, I think about it all the time. I think about how much things have changed and how much, like, for the first time, we're experiencing typhoons in real time and we're not even there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Fucking, how insane is that?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
The power is out, yet I'm getting updated on how the storm is 100 miles away. And it's completely mind-blowing to me. I think I tweeted something months ago. I was like, wow, this is the first big storm in for the last one. I was like, this is the first big storm in the age of social media.
Yep. That's true, man.
Where we get to share minute by minute what is going on. People recording, just this past one with you too, is like people recording their roofs falling off.
Yeah.
Sinking into their house.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't handle that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, yes, you want to know what's going on up there, but it's like hard to handle when you're watching because we know we're not even that far away.
That's true.
And it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, our power was on the whole time.
It was, man. It was. It was.
Watching movies while our sister islands were getting devastated and destroyed.
It's what, a 40-minute plane ride, right? Not even.
Yeah, about that 50 minutes.
Yeah, and they were getting. They got.
Yeah, I visit Tinian for work, often. Yeah. And so it's like when I saw it's going directly for them, I was like, oh man. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we can send all the prayers we want, to Tinian and Saipan, but it's they're people that's gonna really bring them through this.
Yeah.
You know, like how long until civil unrest starts kicking in?
Yeah.
You know, and
That's true.
It's a scary thought
Mm-hmm.
that we live in this day and age where we can run out of water, we cannot have power, the utilities can go, and everything can be devastated. Are we ready for that? Is Guam ready for that?
That's something to think about.
It is something to think about. That was literally like right there.
Yeah.
Right there. And we didn't even bat an eye. Everyone lived their day the next day and was like, okay, well, go back to work.
Yeah.
Continue,
complaining, right? Oh, we got to go back to work.
Shit, work.
Yeah, man.
But we're not thinking about, shit, that was close. Maybe we should start making sure everything's good and I'm pretty sure the government's doing their thing, but individually, you know, in your household, like, are we ready? Are you ready?
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. I'm about to start making a checklist now. Like, I'm going to go make sure my place is good, you know, so. But yeah, like you said, it was pretty interesting because I stayed up all night because, you know, my mom and my older sister live in Saipan.
Okay.
So, you know, I was just staying in contact with my mom, and she was posting, you know, on Facebook, like, oh, yeah, you know, the wind's strong. You know, there's a lot of flooding, you know, blew something down. And then, you know, everything sounds like really terrible. And then at the end, she's always like, oh, but I have my wine. You know, so I was like, what the heck, mom? You know what I mean?
It's a glass half full kind of.
Yeah, you know.
Kind of woman.
So, and that's one thing that I noticed too, just looking at the different posts from the different age ranges, is that you kind of see the what is it? The kind of like the grit of the older generations. Okay. You know what I mean? The elderly, how like, you know, Typhoon got hit hard. You know, everything was really like battered down. But then, like, my mom, she's just really happy-go-lucky about everything. You know, she's, like, really focused. A lot of the older generations are kind of like...
Interesting you say that.
You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, you know, shit's pretty bad, but, you know, we'll be okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's good for maybe the younger kids to look up to that, and you can probably draw, like...
What were you sort of seeing from the younger generation on their reaction to...
I think just they're a lot more expressive. You know what I mean? I don't want to use the word sensitive, you know, because I think sometimes that just carries a negative vibe.
Right.
But they just express themselves a lot better, you know, and a lot of them, you know.
Like unafraid to be vulnerable?
Yeah, unafraid to, like, say things, you know. And, you know, a lot of them post, like, oh, man, you know, shit really sucks. You know, this is, like, hard. What are we going to do? You know? And to me, that doesn't show, like, any sign of, like, weakness. It just, you know, they haven't been through like a major storm. Right. You know, this is like, for a lot of them, this is like the first time they've ever experienced anything like that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
First time I experienced Typhoon Paka, like the aftermath wasn't so bad to me, but just the storm in general and the experience was terrifying.
You know, dude, I hid under the bed.
Yeah, I hid in the fucking closet, dude. Yeah. You know, like a small little square. I huddled up and I just had my PlayStation, you know, and I was like, oh shit. You know?
Yeah. Fuck the passport. Give me the PlayStation.
Yeah, for us. Because, man, my mom just got me a PlayStation. I had Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I love it.
Star Gladiator. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. You know, this thing's staying with me forever. So I put it in my backpack. And then, like, you know, shit was going down. Windows were breaking. And then my Auntie Tina was like, oh, let's go to the room, you know? Wow. And so I went into the room. I was like fucking freaking out. And then I just threw myself into the closet, you know? Yeah. And I just kind of wrote it out later on. I have this cousin. His name is Derek. You know, shout out to my cousin Derek. He was like sleeping on the bed. And I'm like, how the fuck is he just sleeping? You know? So I went and just like cuddled up next to him. You know what I mean? I felt so safe, man. And I just, you know, I just wrote out the rest of the storm there. But, you know, the experience was terrifying. And that's why, like, the kids now, you know, when they express those things, it's like, well, what do I expect? What can I expect them to say, man? They've never been through anything like that. You know what I mean? Of course it's going to be, like, fucking crazy. And, you know, it's going to seem like there's no hope sometimes. And, you know, no matter what people say, dude, I would think now it would suck going without power. Yeah. You know? It would suck going without water. You know, I like fucking electricity, you know? So when people are like, oh man, fuck, when are they gonna turn the power on? I'm like thinking the same thing. You know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you guys are like pussies or you're weak or like snowflakes. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, who the hell wants to go without power nowadays? You know, so like when they do those things, it's like no biggie to me, because you know they're gonna experience this now, but then they're gonna become like those seasoned, more experienced people when the next one happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember the last one, Peng Songwa. And I guess that's the beauty of social media, because now you're seeing when disaster does happen today, the outreach of support, outpouring of support. I'd rather the outreach of support, outpouring of support. Outpouring? Is
both,
it outpouring of
dude.
support?
With the outreach.
Pouring with the outreach of the support.
Yeah, we'll connect it, man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's like unprecedented.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't remember, you know, as much support from outside during Peng Songwa. All we heard was FEMA, right?
Yep.
And during PACA. I lived through Omar, PACA, Peng Songwa, and God, what was the one right before Peng Songwa?
I'm not too sure, man. I was
2001. Were you here? Chata'an.
Dang.
Yeah. That was like not too bad. But then Peng Songwa came in and was like, oh yeah?
Yeah, for real, right?
And dude, the way Peng Songwa happened, I remember this clearly because my cousin, his mom and dad were supposed to get married that very day. And we're like, no, it's not gonna hit. Just set up for the wedding, blah blah blah. Yeah. And you know the whole story behind that, right?
No, I don't.
So, the governor had declared December 8th not a holiday no more. So that year it wasn't a holiday, and Peng Songwa hit on December 8th.
Wasn't it like a religious holiday?
Yeah, that's Santa Maria Kamalin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's when they do the procession every year.
Oh, shit. Should we do that?
Yeah. The very next year, it became a holiday.
We got to make that the biggest
maybe
holiday.
right after the typhoon. It was like, okay, holiday next year.
Yeah, for real. They have to take it up another level. They have to give us the whole week off or something.
Right. I mean, but dude, look at how quick people are like raising funds, helping each other. That community, that sense of help each other out and bring each other up during times of need is like insane right now.
Yep.
You know? I mean, earlier it's like, before it's like none. Maybe you don't even hear about it.
Yeah.
But now we can like you said, express ourselves, express how our reactions towards what's going on.
Of course. And
show that no matter where you are in the world, if you're in this area, they're being affected too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. That's true, man. So, yeah, I like those things, man. I like social media. So
yeah, it is. I mean, but we didn't grow up in that sort of age, right? I kind of got some used to it. I still have trouble doing this.
Yeah,
you know,
me
like,
too.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm
yeah, me too. My introduction to I think I got my first smartphone maybe 2011, I think. 2011 or 12. And it was solely just to play like the smartphone games, you know, and then I didn't know about like Facebook or Instagram or, you know, Twitter or anything like that. Yeah. So, but now I'm just like every day I'm just scrolling through all of it, you know, and it's cool to me, man. I like that stuff. So
yeah, the amount of information, right? We're like flooding ourselves. You know, it's all about how you filter it.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe the algorithms that Instagram and Facebook apply to it sort of help filter what we're looking at.
Yeah.
But I guess then it's up to you to sort of like change the algorithm and start searching up other stuff.
Yeah.
Because it can be robotic.
Oh, definitely.
It's like, fuck, I saw this yesterday.
Yeah.
Or why am I still seeing shit similar to this?
Yeah.
Because you've built that algorithm they built that algorithm for you to like keep showing you shit that you enjoy so that you never stop looking at it.
Yeah, it's true. Because I was thinking like maybe like the last 2 years, I've just been like noticing just a trend of like unrest and like anger, you know, a lot of negativity on social media. And I'm like, fuck, why is my feed just overflowing with like angry people. You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys so angry? But I noticed it's because I was like clicking into everything, you know, to like learn more, to read more. And once I stopped doing that, once I kind of started to put more energy and focus into like the cool shit, you know, like the art, the music, you know, the positive posts, you know, positive people.
Right.
That's kind of
inspirational.
what, yeah, that's kind of what started. That's kind of what started to pop up even more. So, you know, that's one thing I always tell people, like, if there's something that you don't like that you see, like, just don't involve yourself with it. You know what I mean? If it's like some dude like rambling and he's like angry about something and you don't like it, man, if you sit there and if you subscribe to it, you're going to keep on. That's what they're going to send you.
Keep commenting on their posts.
Yeah. You know, like you're that's what you're going to flip through all the time. So, you know, I had to stop paying attention to the angry people. You know what I mean?
Start blocking people.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna unfollow you. Never mind.
Yeah, because I was really doing it, man. I was on that tip. You know how people say like, oh, you're just a keyboard warrior, like social justice keyboard warrior, like it's a put down. Like, man, when people call me a keyboard warrior, I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's right. You know, level 100.
Do you express yourself often on the internet? At least in typewritten form, commenting, stuff like that.
Man, I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do, because I do whatever the fuck I want, kind of, you know? So if there's something that I want to say, or if there's something I want to, like, let out, or if there's something I want to comment on, you know, I mean, first I kind of just have to remember myself that opinions aren't facts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Shit's not even real. It's just my opinion, you know? So
it's like a butthole.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
you know So I'm going to, like, you know, I'm just going to put it out there and we're going to have a conversation. You know, if I disagree with what you say, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and fight you when I see you and stuff like that. But I think that you have to do stuff like that, you know. As people, we have to communicate, you know what I mean? Like, I always say, like, back in the day, like, you know, the tribesmen, you know, they all sat around the fire and they, like, went over things. They didn't all just agree with everything. I'm pretty sure they disagreed. People had different opinions.
Yeah, you ever watch Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect example.
So,
primates.
Yeah, so you
not
have
agreeing with each other.
Yeah, we have to disagree. We have to talk. We have to argue with each other. We have to debate, because that's the only way we're ever gonna really understand each other. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever have the best relationship, you know, and you never argue with your partner. You know what I'm saying? It's always the relationships where you don't take that time to argue and hear each other out, do a little bit of yelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit of name calling. You know what I'm saying? But then when that silence comes afterwards, that's when people start to understand, like, oh shit, that's what she was talking about. You know what I mean? So that's that point to where you have to set your ego aside, you know, buy the roses and say, oh, I'm sorry, you know, and then your girlfriend or whatever says, oh, I'm sorry too, you were right. And that's just how people move forward.
You were right. No, you were right.
Yeah.
No, you.
Yeah.
No, you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everything's good until the next time something comes up. But that's what I think, like, man, you know, nobody thinks the same.
Yeah.
And nobody's wrong for it. You know, if somebody doesn't like something and I do, you know, that I like it and they don't, I can't force them to like it. You know what I mean? I could just try and plead my case or try and help them or give them a little bit of info. But if they choose not to like it, then, you know, what can I do, man? You know, I'm not going to hate the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, the internet always makes me like,
yeah.
It's like, do they know who I am? Do they really know who I am? Oh, do I want to say this? And then you start getting emotions when you start, like, going at it. I've had some back and forth on social media before, and it's like, why is this getting me heated? Like, why do I even care about this right now? You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for real.
The only reason why this shit matters is because I'm making it matter.
Yep, that's true. I've had a couple of those cases. I mean, I've said some things on, like, Twitter that got people, like, really upset, you know, and they, like, came at me with like the pitchforks and fires and stuff, ready to burn the castle down. But you know, like I said, it's sometimes there's just misunderstandings.
Yeah, at the end of the day, dude, it's what you think. If you don't agree with me, then that's fine. I'm not asking you. I'm not trying to create a cult or a following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe maybe a following in some sort of aspect, right? In this sort of social media realm, right? But like to create something where people are like believing everything I say, like, no, this is the word, and this is how it is, and this is how you're gonna see it, and we're all gonna drink this fruit punch together and die.
Yeah, that's it, you know, and like
Dude, it's reverbing. It's reverbing.
What's reverbing?
The sound.
Like when we speak to each other?
Yeah, it's super echoey.
Huh.
Can I mic check? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
You know what I'm saying? Try talking, B?
Hello, mic check.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Huh? No, there's.
Which one was the restroom again?
Right there. Window. Or here.
Or is it a window? No, I'm joking. Or is it a window? Yeah. So.
H, can you mark that number, that time down, on the recorder?
Yeah, shout out, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
What were we talking about?
that's one thing that I've been thinking a lot about lately. Even just locally, you know what I mean, on Guam, because there's a lot of stuff going on the island right now.
Yeah.
You know, and there's kind of a lot of places that I would say like need some help. You know, there's a lot of negative things going on, and you know, there's these people like doing this thing, like maybe standing up for like local rights, you know what I mean? Maybe they're like I don't want to say like anti-military, but not so big on like military coming in, and they're trying to like preserve the land, you know?
Right.
And you know, there's people doing this, there's people doing that, and those are like all really cool things to do, you know, like everybody pitching in and trying to do good things for the island. I think that should be like the goal of each individual, you know. But at the same time too, I think everybody has their own position to play, you know. So like for me, I don't appreciate it if somebody from like this organization is coming down on me for not doing this or like being a certain way, because, you know, I don't have any knowledge of that, you know what I mean? But maybe my role that I'm playing is like working with like the community, right? Or maybe like the kids or something, or like, you know, outreach and stuff, you know. So like this is like where I want to like focus my attention, you know, like in my certain surroundings. And, you know, like these people are over here, like teachers are over here, police are over here, but I don't think that one group should like come down and tell each other like, oh, this is what you should be doing.
Like, I'm right, right, you're wrong.
Yeah. You know, my movement is like what we all need to focus on, and you're like not part of, you know, the community if you're not on board with us.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
Because I feel that attitude sometimes coming from people like that.
Well, it's that the word that you don't want to say, sensitivity.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it to the cause, right?
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. We good? We're good now? Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's sensitivity to the cause. And like you said, it comes to compromise. That's the only way we're going to move forward. To be able to talk with each other, whether we have differing views. I've challenged myself to bring people on the show that may have a different view or outlook that I have, but dude, we don't sit here and bicker with each other.
No.
We literally sit here and maybe they bring something up, I bring something up, and maybe at the end of the conversation or the topic, it's like a compromise. All right, agree to disagree, move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's very true.
The world is too big, and the island is, you know, I mean, yeah, it's small, but it's still big.
Yeah.
Enough for us to have our own.
Yeah.
You know, for us to fight every day of our lives. Like, just because you're doing it with your life doesn't mean that's what I want to do with my life.
Yeah, exactly, man. And, everybody has their different beliefs. And, not everybody on a football team plays quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have, like, so many different positions. You have coaches. You have, like, fucking, whatever, But that's what I think. I think that we all should just find, like, what we're passionate about and what we love doing and how we are going to contribute to the island. And I think that we have to focus on that and put all our energy into this. You know what I mean? But it's really hard for somebody to do that if there's another person doing something else and they're, like, telling that person, like, no, you should be doing this, or, like, this is more important. You know what I mean? I think that, like, every positive movement on Guam is like small gears in the machine,
Agreed.
And in order for Guam to move forward, we all have to be moving in our respective places,
Yeah, everyone's doing their part, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's a whole completely different world than it was in the 90s and the early 2000s of how people in their 20s and their 30s are moving throughout this world.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. We can have more of an impact today than we've ever been.
Yeah.
Ever at this age in Guam.
Yeah.
I've come to believe that Guam is no longer that place where you can't find opportunity.
No.
You literally have to create opportunity and know where it's at.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep.
But a lot of people are doing it. Why the diaspora is still happening? Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's still a good amount of people who believe that there's nothing here, And I have my own family members too that they'd rather not move back and deal with the struggles here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The quote unquote struggles.
Yeah. The strugs. But yeah, no, I don't. I think that there's a lot of opportunity here. I think Guam is like a great place that you can kind of, make way. You have a lot of time here, to really focus on what you want to do. That's one of the big reasons why I moved back to Guam, out of high school, was because it was a perfect opportunity for me to kind of just like get focused and, work on the vision more. And, that's why I came here. But, there's a lot of opportunity here, man, and it just takes work.
It does. It's simple as that.
Yeah, no matter where you're at, no matter what position you're in, it just takes work, man. Like there's no like skipping to the end of the board. You're not gonna just take one step and cross the finish line. Guam is a perfect place to achieve anything, but shit, you just have to really work. And not everybody's really ready to put in work, and that's something that I'm working on too myself. Nowadays they like feed people a lot of stuff, and I like those things, man. I like the self-help books. I like the positive quotes. I really believe in like positive mental attitude, but sure. The thing that people try and skate past, I believe, is like the work. You know what I mean? Like getting dirty, doing the work, putting in the hours, the sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, the failure.
Yeah, we'd rather hang out with the boys.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, and Guam's perfect for that. You got family, you're always having dinners, barbecues.
By the time you're done with dinner, you're tired because you're so full. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
What you gonna do today?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just gonna go into a sleep coma. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it happens, man. I do that. I do that shit too. I love, spending time. I'm a real social person. I like doing things with friends, spending time with family, eating dinner, barbecues. But, it gets to the point to where you do have to sacrifice those things sometimes.
Yeah, man. Fuck, dude. I agree. I'm right now in this like time of my life. In the beginning of the year, I had and then I got myself into a bunch of things, and by mid year I realized I spread myself too thin.
Yeah,
I was trying to put my time into every little thing that I didn't make time for myself, and it was fucking with my mental.
Yeah,
and it was driving me insane. I was like, dude, why am I so tired? Why do I not care about shit? Why the fuck and I realized I was like, whoa, I'm in way too many things, and I've added things to my life that without completing the things that I had already added previously.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a daddy do list
Yeah.
for yourself. Right? And you in the end, when you look at it and you look how long your list is and you realize how much you haven't accomplished and how much you had planned to accomplish by the time you got there, dude, it's disheartening.
Yeah.
It was discouraging.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I've been doing this whole time.
Yeah. No, it's true.
What have I been putting my time into?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I was like mid-year. And so, I took my exam, didn't do podcast for about a month and a half. I went out to the States in August, came back, typhoon happened or storm happened, and then I decided, I was like, all right, I have to cut everybody off. Everybody and everything besides the people who are always around me, which is my dog, my girlfriend, and my cousin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just put myself in this sort of element of, if I really want this, I have to really, really want it solely alone. I cannot do everything and expect to achieve all of them, all 4 or 5 things at the same level.
Yeah.
They're all going to be all staggered, leveled. And so that's where I sort of found myself. And it was a learning experience, dude. Yeah. 2018 was really weird for me.
Yeah.
In that sense, it was like, thought I had it all. I was like, shit, turned 30. Like, fucking got some shit completed in my 20s. And I got it all figured out. But no, hell no. Yeah. You never figure it out.
You don't. And, the path is different, right? Because even I was like that. Like, I would have to admit that just this year, I've really made progress. And I thought I was doing good. You know what I mean? Like, looking back on it, at the progress that I made this year, what I did in the past, I'm kind of like, damn, I wasted a lot of time. You know what I mean? I wasted a lot of time. I did like a lot of things. And I really, for a while there, I was really down on myself, like, man, where would I be if I didn't do this, or where would I be?
Right.
But then, I just had to remember that everything that I've done in the past has led me to this point, and maybe, I didn't realize it at the time, and I'm only starting to realize it now. But, all of those things are stepping stones, and I think that everything happens for a reason. So now, I'm at a good place in life. I really have like a clear vision of the things that I want to do, the places that I want to go and the people that I want to like do it with, you know what I mean? But I would never have reached that point if I didn't, waste all that time in the past or made those mistakes.
Well, we don't realize it's wasting time until we've reached a certain pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
A turning point, decision point. Man, I'm watching a show, and just previously that week, I was talking to someone about, like, isn't it crazy when something happens to us, the first thing we think about is the last decision that we made that made us go down that path?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And we skip all the little details in the middle.
Yeah.
But we think of that one point. Like, if I just didn't do this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And I always hear that, man. I learned a lot from, I have a good friend. He's like a brother to me. His name is June Sun.
Okay.
And he, he's like one of those guys that I can talk to about those things, about like life, maybe like different philosophies, mindsets and stuff. And that's one thing he told me. He's like, you'll never be able to connect the dots going forward. You know what I mean? But as you like move on, as you progress in life, then you can stop where you're at and look back and be like, okay, this is why that happened. You know what I mean? To like bring me to this point, whether that thing was like good or bad, had a positive or negative effect, it's a lot easier to look back and kind of connect the dots. You know what I mean? But he's saying it's like almost impossible to try and connect the dots going forward.
Right. Determine where you're next. Like, if I make this decision, what's the next 2 years gonna be?
Yeah, and we can. I say we can have goals. Like I write goals down every single day.
Nice.
Okay. I write like down goals like, okay, I'm gonna do my dishes today. Like small stuff like dishes, go home, laundry.
Small senses of accomplishment.
Yeah, like train. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And have like the goals for the end of the week and stuff like that. But maybe sometimes things don't work out. Exactly like how I wrote it down.
Yeah.
But it would lead to another thing, and then that's how I can look back and say like, okay, you know, this is.
How often do you reflect or meditate? I always ask. I know you. I can tell you're a deep thinker, man. You know, and it's like I always tend to ask people who I kind of get that feeling from, if you know if they do meditate and what they do to meditate.
Yeah,
because it's a really important aspect of life, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. I spend a lot of time thinking. You know, I would say that I actually have just started to meditate, you know, like actually like sitting down, you know, in the position, breathing, having the mantra and stuff like that.
Yeah. Who was I talking to recently? Brogan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She has a mantra and and breathing exercises.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So right now for that meditation, I'm on 2 20-minute periods a day. You know what I mean? Of just nothing but silence. You know, I'll sit down in position and just meditate. But just outside of that, I'm always thinking. You know what I mean? I'm always thinking about things, whether I bring it on for myself or something like makes me, you know, think of something, or, you know, it's influenced by another thing. You know, my head is like often in the clouds. You know what I mean? There's like I'm always getting in trouble by my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Because she's always like, you know, she might think I'm like upset, and I'm like, oh no, I'm just thinking. She's like, well, are you sure?
What you think about?
Yeah, I'm like,
don't worry, my girlfriend's the same way. My girlfriend's the same way.
Yeah, I'm thinking about you, girl.
Yeah,
you know?
On my mind 24/7.
For real.
You ain't tired? You're not sleepy yet?
Yeah.
You've been running my mind.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of thinking, man. And so that's why, you know, I started to get into things like podcasts, you know, so I can cut that channel sometimes and maybe have some other information coming into my head other than me just trying to figure everything out, you know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, for sure. I found podcasts to be very, very how do I say this? When I first started, the reason why I started doing podcasts is because of the way it made me feel when I listened to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like I was constantly learning.
Yeah.
And even like every time I do a podcast, I feel like I'm always learning.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like endless.
Yep.
Endless. And, you know, my grandfather, like, bashed into my head, always educate yourself. They can take away everything in your life. They can take away, but they can never take away your education.
Yeah.
No matter how. And today, you can get education in any different way or form.
You can.
It doesn't necessarily need to say degree on it. Well,
Yep.
I mean, the internet, you can be like, what am I educate myself today?
Yeah, no, it's true.
What was that war in 1700s?
Yeah, it's true, man. There's so much information out there. It's crazy, you know. And the thing that I struggled with at first is because I was like, man, how do I know this shit is real? You know what I mean? Like, if I listen to a podcast and they're telling me about like history, I'm like, man, is this real? You know, or like I'm watching like a tutorial on YouTube on how to do something. I'm like, man, is this, you know what I mean? Is this really how you do it?
These guys bullshitting me?
Yeah. So I had those battles for like a long time. Cause even like my friend June was always like, yeah, watch this. But you know, me, I'm like, I don't need to watch
Skeptical.
that. Yeah. You know, and I was really like, you know, I'm just like, nah, I was always pushing things away. But just last year, I really stopped, you know. Downloaded like some podcasts, you know what I mean? That's how I found out about Master Random, because I put out a post like, man, what do you guys think I should tune into? You know, and of course the local scene, everybody was posting like, oh, you know, check this out, Master Random and stuff.
That's dope.
Yeah, dude, super cool.
That's super badass.
So I downloaded that, you know, I downloaded some other ones, and then it just became like an everyday thing. So I listen to podcasts like almost every single day, man. And different kind, you know, crazy ones, you know. Do I listen to a fucking zombie like story podcast, you know? Yeah, and then after that is like a history one, and then like some hip hop ones, you know. So
yeah, I found myself into the serial crime podcast lately. Like, why am I interested into crime? Like people murdering each other. Like, for real, and they can't figure out who's. Like, it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
It's like watching Unsolved Mysteries as a kid, right?
Yeah. And the guy might still be alive. He might be in Guam, and his name might be Dean Blas. You know?
Update.
Yeah,
He was on a podcast.
that's their next episode. Is like the Matt Saranda murderer. But then it's like none of us is actually my girlfriend. You know what I mean? She's out of here. Like, oh shit, man. Fuck. So
7 people found dead inside the apartment.
yeah, for real. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, dude, podcasting, literally, I always tell people, it changed my life. It changed my life. It changed my perspective. It changed the way I look at people and view the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the amount of stories that's been that people have been able to share on the podcast realizes, like, you can go and experience, however, go and try and experience everything in this world. You're not going to experience everything.
Yeah.
So the best way to do it is talk to each other. And
Yeah.
it's like we've lost that with social media and with always being online and connected. We've lost the simple raw thing of sitting in a circle and talking. Right.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. We have, and I think that really creates like a disconnect.
No.
You know, like a lot of times I know if you're on Facebook and you're chatting it out, you know, when that person comments and somebody's reading through it, they're reading it and they're already answering it back in their head. You know what I mean? They're not even trying to take the time to understand or comprehend what that person's saying.
Right.
They're already trying to like come back with their answer.
Right.
Like, you know, and not even just an argument, you know what I mean? But some people like always want to one up the person, like act like they know more.
Yeah, and you don't even necessarily have to know them. You just have to know they're female.
Yeah.
And then or male, and then you start listening to the voice of how they would say the comment in your voice, in a girl's voice or a boy's voice.
Yeah.
And then it makes you angry.
For reals, you know? So like that's what I say, like nobody wants to listen anymore. You know, everybody just wants to speak, and the only time they're listening is because they just, you know, they can't wait to just jump in and answer back.
Right. I mean, and that's why I've always believed that arguing over text message with your significant other is the absolute form of arguing ever.
It's the worst.
Ever.
Man. It's the worst, dude.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like, please, can we just talk to each other? Because
yep.
I'm starting to read it in your voice, and it's an angry voice.
For us.
You're like becoming demonic. And
yeah, for us. And you just type something and you're not even mad. You know what I mean? But they're going to perceive it as you being mad. Right. And then they're going to get mad.
It's that one channel sort of syndrome, and then things start being capitalized. Like, why are you capitalizing shit?
Yeah, for reals. You know.
You threw out the F word already. Oh, okay.
Yep. Then you get like, okay, fine. You know what I mean? You get you get the 2 blue checks, but then they don't respond. You know what I mean? So then you get mad. Like, what the fuck? You read it?
Yeah. Didn't you see I read it? Yeah, I saw you read it 5 minutes after I sent it, after it got delivered.
Yeah, so, yeah.
What were you doing in those 5 minutes? Sorry, bro, I can go on and on.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's just funny. It's just so funny because everybody goes through it. Everybody thinks that their situation, relationship-wise, is unless it's like crazy. You're like on the windshield of a car going down Route 1, you know. But other than that, we all act the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just comes down to communication.
Yeah.
And that's usually what it is. It's either lack of communication or miscommunication.
Yep. So, you know, we just got to keep working on it as people.
Yeah.
But that's funny, though, like communicating through text, because I always see these, like, comments that are saying, like, if the girl don't respond back within, like, 5 minutes, she's not a keeper, or, like, vice versa, you know? And I was like, man, I don't even know if a healthy relationship would be with somebody who has the time to respond back within 5 seconds, you know? Because I'm like, dude, my girlfriend has a full-time job, bro. You know what I mean? And like, if she doesn't like respond, I'm not gonna be mad, you know? Or
and if I didn't respond, I could have been taking a shit or something.
yeah, you know, like
I forgot my phone.
Yeah, I work.
Nobody forgets their phone.
Yeah, for reals. I'm on the last level of Candy Crush, man. I need it. I'm on a timer. I can't.
Of course, I'm gonna swipe up.
Yeah, you know. So relationships are definitely out of the picture for that. And then also, I noticed that people do it in like the workplace now. There's like work WhatsApps, like WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, other than just posting information, like you know, why would you like chat in there, you know, because then stuff kind of gets like misconstrued and perceived the wrong way.
Right.
Then you might have a coworker who's like pissed off for some odd reason,
or you can be drunk and accidentally send it to your work
yeah,
WhatsApp
for
group.
reals, you know. So I'm like,
And it's the dude's like, did you see this? And then it's the dude with the long dong.
yeah,
It's like,
oh
I
man,
don't want to see that.
I fucking hate that. I hate that guy, dude. Oh my, but it's just so funny, you know.
We all hate that guy.
That one and the damn moaning video.
Oh, the moaning
dude.
videos, dude. Oh,
Yo,
they always get me too.
that
bro.
one really. I always lower my volume down now. You know what I mean? And when somebody posts something with like the download, you know, and you can play it as a video, I just wait to see the comments. Like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Or you asshole. Like, oh, you almost got me, man. Because I've been hit with that in like some weird situations, you know what I mean? And like I'm just happy my daughter has like a sense of humor and she's goofy, because the one time I did get hit with that, she was like sitting right next to me, you know what I mean? And she looked at me like, what?
What?
You know? And I'm like, man, you know this, you know? And she's like, oh my God, that's stupid. You know, you're stupid. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, the person who sent it is stupid.
Yeah, that was your Nino. You know what I mean? He's stupid.
Yeah, dude. The whole WhatsApp group thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I went through this whole rebalancing of everything in my life, I had to take myself out of WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
I took myself out of like 12 WhatsApp groups, dude. And I was like, what was I doing in 12 WhatsApp groups?
For real. It's crazy, bro.
And honestly, my life didn't get any worse without him.
Yeah.
You know, and when it's around us, we tend to think that we need it.
Yeah.
That we're not going to survive without it.
Yeah.
But it's not the case. And I think we're probably going to be the last generation to understand that, because we grew up with playing with rocks and sticks and outside, you know?
Yep.
Instead of now you have a 1-year-old that knows how to operate an iPad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it looks cute. Yeah. Oh my God, look,
Yeah,
operate iPad, but dude, this is advanced.
Yeah, that's pretty advanced, man.
This is advanced shit. This is like robot shit, you know?
Yeah.
Robot.
Like
robot. What am I saying? Robotic shit. You know?
The programming. So that's and that's, I like to get rid of those things too. Like, that's why I said, like, we as people have to preserve like the old values, you know. Like, so say like everybody has a smartphone now, you know. But back in the day, man, you might have had 2 house phones, you know, one in the living room and one in your parents' room, right? Yeah. And then when everybody eats, you eat together. Mm-hmm. And then if the phone rings, like, fuck, you have an answering machine. Right. You know what I'm saying? Dinner time is like kind of like family time, you know. So I like those things, you know what I mean? Even if we all have like phones, you know, when we sit down to eat, you know, I like it when everybody just puts the phone away, you know. Even if you get a phone call or a text, like, you know, if it's like an emergency, I'm pretty sure they're going to keep blowing that shit up, you know. But if it's just like one ring, like, you know, who cares, man? Just be in the moment, you know, and enjoy what you have. And that's time with each other, right? You know, so that's what I'm saying. Even with the advancements of like technology and like connectivity, it's still all of our responsibility to hold on and share like those good values, you know. Agreed, man. Yeah. And you can see it. You can see when you go to the restaurants, the people who are trying to create that balance. Like, everyone's phone in the middle, and first person who picks it up pays the bill. Yeah. You know, you like play games, and after you know, apply games to it now to create that sort of like how it used to be feeling, nostalgic feeling, right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, you know, I see a lot of stuff, and it's not that it's bad, but I just don't prefer to do it. You know, like if my daughter's, you know, they're eating with us, you know, she's not going to be on her phone, you know. She might have like a coloring thing from the restaurant, but you know, I'll color with her. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, we'll spend that time, we'll bond and connect, but just seeing like, you know, like maybe like a couple out on the date, and then like they're both on their phone, you know, or like the families and like these kids are on the iPad and like not eating the food. And, you know, I saw one kid on his iPad. All 6 like, kids have headphones on. Yeah. And like, he was like, he was like, you know, grown, but the mom was like feeding him. Wow. You know, and he was on his like iPad, and the mom was like 2 feeding hands him. On the iPad. Yeah, 2 eyes on the screen. and just opening his mouth, and the mom was like, you know what I mean, playing airplane and putting the food in there, and I'm like, maybe that's a little unhealthy, you know what I mean, to do stuff like that. So kind of scary, but really sad, you know, for me to see stuff like that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, bro.
That's really
that's
crazy.
mind blowing, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even think of at the top of my head what maybe the craziest thing that I've seen, at least with people utilizing technology in times that, you know, you can be conversating, ask how your day is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because even like
Wow.
even like back in the day, you know,
That's pretty extreme.
yeah, like back in the day, you know, if I cried for something, I'm not gonna get what I wanted, you know. But nowadays, like, kids cry and the parents don't have the patience to deal with it or maybe learn, so they just give them, like, you know, the screen, you know, the phone or the iPad.
It's the shut
yeah,
up.
it's like the pacifier.
Might as well say shut up, right?
Yeah, you know, and it's like the pacifier.
Shut up.
But like for me, that's like not good for both, you know. It's not good for the kid because they're gonna learn and it's gonna become a habit, and then the habits that kids pick up when they're little, man, they're gonna carry on into the future, and they're gonna do that same shit
And expect it to be that way.
Yeah,
right.
You know?
Like, wait, this is how we've always been doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the difference now? Why can't I have my phone with me?
Yeah,
I've always had it.
Yeah, it's true. And they're gonna cry, you know, kick and scream. And then those situations are good for parents because, you know, like for me as a parent, I have to learn how to deal with those things also, you know. So if like my daughter was like throwing a temper tantrum, you know, I'm gonna have to learn like the patience, you know what I mean, and how to figure things out and find like healthy ways to correct the situation, you know what I mean. So it's like a learning opportunity that I think a lot of parents pass up on. You know what I mean, just by, you know, giving the pacifier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a parent myself, but you know, I have two much younger sisters.
Yeah,
to where it was more like that role model kind of thing. And but yeah, dude, I mean, I'm not saying everything that our parents did was the best way of raising us. Yeah, but it's like there's definitely things to hold on to. Yeah, in that respect,
for sure, man.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I was scared of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm like. Nah, I was just telling a coworker, I was like, there's things that I experienced when I was little that I told myself when I become a parent, I'm gonna do the exact opposite. You know, so like something simple like staying up late on the weekends. You know, like, man, I had to go to bed at like 9 p.m. on the weekend. On the weekend, you know, and it was like the worst thing. I'm like, man, this sucks, you know. So like now, like Saturday, I just let my daughter stay up, you know, like have fun, you know, do this or like, you know, other things. But
pig out on Oreos.
Yeah,
and Netflix.
Yeah, but the foundation, you know, like chores, responsibility, you know, values, you know, things that I learned. Those are the things that I still hold on to, and I try and pass it down. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Did you ever think it would come to that point where you would have to like pass down stuff that you you know, like learned in that respect?
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's a lot of things that I didn't understand when I was little, you know, and in my young adulthood, you know, but as soon as I had a kid and, you know, she started growing, that's kind of when it all, you know, that's when the light bulb came on, you know. So there would have been something that I just totally didn't like, but then a light bulb would come on and I'd be like, okay, that's why my mom was like this, you know what I mean, to prevent this from happening, you know. So I'm just glad that I caught that and I'm able to pass it on now too, you know. So
I noticed that you're even from the story in the beginning, you held on to your PlayStation. It seems like our generation sort of was the video game.
Yeah, for sure.
Since we were young, we were watching new systems come out. You know, from the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, to the I believe the Nintendo was before me and the Atari. But I experienced the release of the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, Xbox, PlayStation.
Yep. Same, man.
PS2, and they were just like long lines. Mom, we gotta get it, Mom.
Yeah.
Please, for Christmas, please. Please. No, you don't need it. Mom, I need it.
Yep. I experienced all those, man. The first day coming out. Yeah,
dude, and video games have been a part of my life
Dude.
forever, dude. For as
Same
long
here.
as I can remember, I was playing Madden since like, I was playing NBA Live '96.
yeah. When they all looked the same, they were just different skin tones.
Yeah, and then 2K was just 2K.
Yep.
Like
I remember
NBA 2K. It was the year 1999.
that. Yep. Yeah. I've been playing games for a long time, man. I love them. They're like it's not many people understand. I think a lot of people play video games, but there's just like a big connection that other people have with them. Like for me, I started playing video games when I was little. And I played like all sorts of video games. I started on the Nintendo. I started playing this one game. It was like a medieval game. I just forgot what it was called, but it just had a bunch of different mini games. Like one you had to like joust, and then another game you had to like shoot like apples and shit.
No way.
But I would play with it for hours, So that's when I was like, man, I really love doing this.
Do you remember a game? It was like Smash TV or
Yeah, Smash.
Where you go into
The
like
top
different room.
view,
Yeah, top
and
view.
then you're like shooting. And
yeah, and
shooter,
there's- yeah.
Yeah, that game was super cool.
Fuck,
So
what the fuck is that game called?
was it called? No, was it called Smash? I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Can you see if there's what the game? It's like Super Smash TV or
Yeah,
Smash
something like
TV?
Smash
It's
TV.
Nintendo for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that game was super good. I remember that game. And then you could get different weapons, and then they shot different. Like one would be like.
But that was a Super Nintendo though, right?
I think that
that
might have been Nintendo.
That was Nintendo.
I think that might have.
It might have been Nintendo too. Not Super Smash Bros. Maybe like TV,
Yeah,
something
Smash
TV.
TV or like arcade or something like that. I'm like waiting on the edge of my seat here. Smash TV. Oh, I think
No, you
that's
don't have
it
to turn
right
on.
there.
Just tell us. Yeah.
Oh, Super Nintendo.
It's Super Nintendo, right?
Okay, Super Nintendo.
TV.
That was a dope game, dude.
Okay, back to the medieval game. Sorry,
Okay, yeah. So
guys, just
like
got
for
all
me-
nostalgic.
yeah, I really liked video games, and then and honestly, they helped me get through like a really bad time in my life.
Okay.
Because growing up, while my parents, it was my mom and my sister's dad, they used to argue a lot, and like bad arguments, you know what I mean? Like a lot of yelling, like a lot of throwing things. And, I was a little kid at the time and I was like terrified, you know what I mean? I was like really scared, man. Those are like the first moments in my life that I can remember, like real fear, And my two older brothers, they were like already older. So they're like out the house.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a younger sister. So they're already like teenagers. They're out the house doing their thing. So a lot of times when it happened, it was just me at my house alone.
Right.
And I try and block it out by doing things like drawing and reading, but it's just those things are really quiet, and it was kind of easy to kind of break your concentration, if there's like people yelling in the next room. So, I would turn on the video game system, and then it would kind of just suck me in, to where it helped me block all of the noise out, because I'm focusing on the video game, the hand-eye coordination, you know what I mean? I have to really pay attention to what I'm doing. So, that was my connection with video games. Everybody has like their own thing that kind of helped them get through moments.
Right.
But video games were what carried me through like those moments in my life, you know what I mean? So like from the arguing to like the divorce, the separation, I played a crap load of video games. You know what I mean? And it sounds, might sound goofy.
Well, it was a form of the way you coped with everything going on around you.
Yeah, because I was it's not like I stayed inside, but I didn't really talk much. Or like things like that. Like even to this day, I don't really say when something's bothering me, or I just was never used to doing that. So, it was always like I always had these getaways, and video games were like a big part of helping me through those moments. So, and I still play video games to this day. So, you know what I mean? And now they're like better, they're bigger, better.
Graphics are nice.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God.
I always think about like, so when Dreamcast first came out, that's the first time I ever had anyone like say bad words on a video game.
Yeah.
and the graphics were amazing
They
on
were
the
super-
Dreamcast,
They were super good.
and the control was kind of weird, but you know, it's like I and I look at it now, I'm like, damn, that was pretty shitty.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, whoa.
Damn, that was not good.
Yep. But at the time when it comes out, you're like, oh man, you
Yeah.
know, how's it ever gonna get better than this?
I remember
Yeah.
Resident Evil director's cut scared the absolute shit
Oh,
out of me,
That
bro.
game was crazy.
I asked my mom. We went to Kmart. We bought it, and then we went home. And I couldn't even get through the first stage.
Yeah.
Without, Mom was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I can't play it. It's too late."
Yeah, for us. That one part where you're walking down that corridor and then the ravens bust in through the window.
Yeah.
That's the time I like cuss out loud, like, "Oh shit!" You know what I mean? I'm like a little kid, and they're like, "What'd you say?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go outside and play." You know what I mean?
I'm done with this.
Yeah, for reals. And then just even running around in that game and everything's so quiet, but you hear like your footstep.
Yeah.
That, like,
when you walk in the dining room in the foyer, right? It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, that scared me so much. You know, I was like, man, F this game. I never beat that game. So I
Me
was like,
neither,
F
dude.
this, man.
Me neither.
I'm not playing this, you know. It's crazy. So,
yeah, scared the bejesus out of me. I would only play it no sound.
okay.
That was it. Just
That
no
might
sound.
work,
Just,
yeah.
My mom was like, "You don't need any sound for that." I was like, "Not this one."
Yeah, for reals. And you say something like, yeah, I'm not scared. I can play it with no sound. I'm not scared. Yeah, but video games are crazy now. I just started playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay. Yeah. And it's
like,
been a while since the last one, right?
yeah, it's been
Like,
a long time.
almost 10 years.
Yep. So it's like I was telling my brother last night, like, yo, I don't even feel like this is a video game. You know what I mean? I feel like
Really?
this shit's like a movie. Like I'm really in there, you know, and like everything's like so detailed from the way the guy moves, you know, how you interact with the environment, the things that you can do.
That open world.
Yeah, the open world gameplay. And I'm just like, man, you can really get lost in something like this, you know. So it's like, good thing I have like jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean, and like a family and stuff to pull me out, because you know what I mean? I'm gonna be in here
Be playing with crumbs on my shirt.
yeah, in here smelling right. You know what I mean? I'm playing this game for hours, dude. Like,
I used to be highly addicted to Age of Empires
okay,
on PC.
the strategy game.
Yeah, dude. One time I sat there for 11 hours.
Wow.
I was a sophomore in high
Mhm.
school. And me and my cousin, we were just deep into it. He was a couple years older than, or he is a couple years older than
Yeah.
I was, but he is a couple years older than me. And we would, these are the old days, dude.
Yeah.
We had like DSL, barely DSL, you know, and
Wow.
he lived in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and so we would webcam each other on our Logitech single eyeball fucking
Yeah.
webcam.
Yep.
And it was like blurry as hell. Could barely see him, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, it's good. Adjust your lens a little bit, you know, just make it a little bit clearer. You know,
Or
and,
else-
and then we just sit there for hours on end, just like, all right, just go get more wood.
Yeah.
Get more wood and
more
just
resources.
yeah. And we need more elephants and soldiers.
Yeah. Did you upgrade?
Did you upgrade?
Yeah. No, I need more wood.
Yeah.
That's why I told you.
Rebuild the church. We need the magic.
Yeah. Yep. I know the language.
Yeah, man. And that's why, I mean, it's just crazy how much video games has changed over the years and how quickly it is. I think VR's catching on, but I don't think anybody's ready for that sort of thing yet, you know, to like completely take yourself out of the
Yeah.
world, right?
Yeah. That sounds crazy to me. The only thing with me in VR is I'm lazy, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to do all that moving, bro. I just want to sit there and like mess around with the controller, you know, have everything else happen. I don't want to be like moving around and like, ooh, Guam's hot.
Yeah, isn't it crazy how the PlayStation control hasn't changed too much, or even the
Yeah.
Xbox control, that we're like professional button pressers.
Yeah.
Basically, like I don't even have to look at the control anymore, and I already like know what I'm pressing and utilize the pinky when I.
Oh yeah, for us. Yeah. Yep. Like when people play Fortnite, you know, and they do like the building and
Yeah.
everything, I'm like, that's bananas.
Yeah, dude,
you know?
that's another level, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I alalready told myself.
You're trying to defend yourself, and build something and point a direction up.
Yep. Get position, build, shoot, and I'm like, I don't want to do all that. You know what I mean? That's way too much.
Yeah. What made you decide to get into streaming?
Let me see. To get into streaming,
because it's been about a year or two.
I think this is my 6th month right now.
6 months only?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 6 months of streaming.
Way longer than that. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see. Well, of course, you know, I've always had the love to play video games, and then, you know, I didn't know the word at the time, but the content creation, you know, I was always into that. You know, like if you scroll back through all my social media, I was always sharing like pictures of my character, you know, situations, talking about shit, you know what I mean? Just like screenshotting it on the computer. So I was kind of always into sharing information, sharing what I'm doing, trying to get people in, you know, having fun. And you know, I'm always late to things, you know, so I never really knew about broadcasting or streaming at the time. Like I said, I only know about podcasts just last year, you know. So one of my homies, his name is Pete Kwambao.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I saw him stream on
Facebook. The homie himself?
Yeah, the super homie. Yeah. So I saw him stream on Facebook, and you know, he was playing like Street Fighter and stuff. Right, and then I knew all of them through working at G3 Internet Cafe, and they used to host the Thursday Night Hype Street Fighter.
So you literally surrounded yourself with video games.
Yeah. I was working there, and you know, all the Street Fighter guys would come in, and then you know, my friends are playing World of Warcraft, League of Legends, you know, Diablo, everything, and I'm playing it too. And so I saw Pete stream. And it was just like really cool how like he was able to play and then interact with the viewers, and then he was able to create like the overlays, the imagery of his stream and stuff. And those are also things that really interested me. So I didn't have a system, but one of my friends was getting rid of his, and so he let me get it. And then when you make on your PS4, it just has like a broadcast button.
Right.
You know? And I was like, oh shit, you know, I'll just try it out. You know, I've seen them do it, and it's something that I think I would like doing. And I just hit the broadcast. I made like a Twitch profile, and you know, I just took off, man. You know, and just have a lot of fun with it. So
right.
Yeah, I'm on 6 months.
that whole idea of content creation is very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, even when I started doing podcasting, I didn't realize what I was doing. You know, like just documenting things, and whether we were at the beach or whether we're at a friend's house or whatever it was, it's like, and people find interest in it.
Yeah, they do.
And it can be someone in the same region or across the fucking world.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like on the Twitch dashboard, it gives you a breakdown of where people are watching from, you know, so you can see like, you know, Guam, you know, United States, Japan, you know, like Germany, you know, so you're like, whoa. And then people are like sometimes talking to you in like other languages, or somebody might come in and say like, oh, I'm from this place. So I'm like having a chat with him while I'm playing a video game, and he's telling me about like his life where he lives, you know, and then like we link up and stuff like that. So, you know, it's cool, man. It's really fun. It's really fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that.
I'm glad. I've always wanted to try it out. I don't know. I don't know about this live stuff.
Yeah,
going live is tricky, dude. I mean, this recorded stuff is cool, but going live gets really, really like tricky.
Yeah.
And we did the podcast live, right? When we first started doing the video streams, we were doing it live, and it was cool. I guess the only thing is that I wasn't able to interact with the people watching.
The people, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we had it on Facebook Live, and it would be Matt and Brian just messaging them.
Yeah.
Right? So there was no substance to, I guess, them being engaged with the conversation that I'm having with the guests.
Yeah.
They're just having a conversation with Brian and Matt. Not that you guys don't, you know, sorry, but I'm not saying that you guys don't have substance, bro. Like, keep me off,
we
bro.
had good conversations when you were in there, man. I was chatting it up with these guys.
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's like they want to engage into the conversation that they're listening to.
Yes, of course.
By making comments on the things that we're saying.
Yeah.
But the people having the conversation aren't able to respond.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it was hard, and I don't know. It's I mean, even this, I mean, I don't edit anything, so it's not like we're like, oh, just have to watch what you say, and you know, we'll edit it out later.
Yeah.
But it's
Just the baby grasshopper thing. No, we just have to edit out the baby grasshopper thing.
we just put a bleep at a baby, right?
Yeah. No. Just put like big ass grasshopper.
Big ass.
For us.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, but that was something I got into, and it was kind of neat how you know, I walked in here and I've seen like the setup of your place, because like when I stream, that's like what it looks like that, you know what I mean? I have to like pull a stool out, I have to put the webcam on top of the stool, you know, I gotta have another stool so I can read like my chat, you know what I mean? And I'm just like sitting on my couch, you know, so my place looks like crazy. You know what I mean? It looks like super bootleg, but on like the camera that I'm playing, everything looks like straight legit,
For sure.
you know. But if you like pan out, it's just like, whoa, this guy has on like a nice button-up shirt, but he's playing in like his like hockey shorts, you know what I mean? With like one sock on, you know. And it's really loud. I'm not gonna lie, it's like that.
See the Doritos with the dip on the side.
For real. I have the chat set up here, but there's like Starburst rappers, you know what I mean? Like all around it and shit. So, you know, I'm just keeping it real. That's what I do. But I was gonna tell you, like, with all your equipment set up, you found like a balance to where like the place looks nice, and then you still have all the equipment, because my place looks bananas.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, dude, before it used to be a couple mic stands and a recorder, and minus these guys.
Yeah.
And it was just me and another person, like I just met, like, hey, so what's up?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, when I was first doing this podcast was like the hardest to get people to like convince people to come to my apartment and talk to me, dude. Just because it's like, so who are you again?
Oh,
you know, like,
man,
do I need to bring a friend? You know?
What? Is this that one murder mystery that I?
It's to catch a predator.
For reals.
You're not gonna lock me up in your dungeon in your apartment, right? And it was, you know, there's a lot with the dudes is like easier, but with the girls they're like more apprehensive. Like,
oh yeah.
So where you want me? Where's your office at? Like, it's an apartment.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, like, hey, do you want to be on a podcast? No, I won't date you.
You want to be on a porno? I mean, podcast? Fuck.
I have a boyfriend. No, this is a podcast, okay?
It's like, don't worry, my girlfriend's here.
Yeah, for real.
Even if she wasn't, it doesn't even matter. We're here to have a conversation. So, like, in the beginning times, it was like, it was tough, dude. Just to gain credibility for wanting to pursue something, you know, and getting people to believe me, like, yeah, okay. And so I thought the more and more and more I did, then people can be like, oh, okay, we can take this guy seriously now, right? And not even just a word of approval, or I'm looking for some weird catchphrase, but it's, or token of approval, right? It's more like I wanted to do this. I found it really, really fun to talk to people and pick people's brains and create content. And I wanted to share with it, but I wanted to be able to be like, oh yeah, that creep that does the podcast.
For real.
Because you can easily become that person, right?
Sure.
And I've always believed like you can spend all your life building your reputation, leaving it, making it ace, polish it, marble, but all it takes is one moment for it to all come crashing down in literal seconds.
That's true.
Especially in this day and age where
when things are spread, you know what I mean?
The WhatsApp, Pacific Daily WhatsApp,
for real. You know what I mean? You might I'm gonna make sure I wash my cup when I'm done, because you might put out a post like, this motherfucker didn't even wash his cup.
Yeah, this is his fingerprints. Check it
know
out.
What I mean? Put it on social media like, tons of respect. This guy didn't even wash his cup in my house. You know what I mean? There's gonna be like campaign ads against me. Do you know Dean Blas?
Yeah.
Do you know he doesn't wash his cup?
Yeah. You know, I invited him over to my house, and he just left his cup on the table.
Yeah, for real. You know.
Did you know he wears lipstick? Look at the lipstick stains on this cup.
Did you know he voted no for? And he doesn't wash his cups. what a bastard.
Yeah. What a fucker, man.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it was, I keyed into what you told me on how you first started, you know what I mean, with like minimum equipment.
Yeah.
And now when I first walked into this place, I would have never known that because you have some serious shit in
Thank
here.
you, bro. Yeah.
And the first thing that you told me were like, we have like these new mics. These are like super crazy mics. And I'm like blown away, But then when you mention that, this is how I started off, that's like, it's really encouraging, and it's something that I think everybody needs to hear and everybody needs to see because, very rarely in life are you going to start off where you want to be, you know what I mean? But you have to take what you have around you, you have to put it together, and you have to let that be a resource to bring you there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I talk to a lot of people about streaming, they're like, oh yeah, I want to stream. And I'm like, yeah, shit, jump into it. Yeah. They're like, oh man, I don't have this. I'm like, I don't have that either. Yeah. They're like, oh, but I don't have this. I'm like, I don't have that either. And then I tell them, okay, this is what I do. Get this, do this, do this, do this. And they're like, oh, no, but, I want to have, like, the best computer or the best, And I'm like, man, if you wait.
to look legit, bro.
Yeah, if you wait for that time, you will never get started, man. Yeah. Because I don't know anybody who drives a Ferrari now that didn't drive that hoopty to begin with.
Right,
you know
right.
I mean? Well, there's some people out there, you know what I mean? But for the, the progress.
Right,
so,
right.
I thought that was really cool, man, that you were able to share the fact that you started off with that minimum equipment. You know what I mean?
How Pete says it best, dude. Minimum value product, dude.
Yep. And
it can get you much further than you've ever thought.
Yeah.
And that's all I keep doing. It's like, ever since I got my sponsorships and stuff, it's like, oh shit, now we can purchase this. Now we can get these guys their own headphones. Now we can get microphones.
Yeah.
And you just, the more you work hard at it, the newer horizons. It's always a horizon.
Yeah.
It's always the horizon will never end.
Yeah.
If you just keep pushing towards that next ridge.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, all right, let's just get up there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's good progress.
But it's complacency. It's that island life.
That's a killer, man.
It is a killer, dude.
It's a killer, and it's something like it's hard to get past too, because I would say that I've had to learn a lot, with streaming. Man, I'm just like one of those, like, I'm like a caveman, you know what I mean? I know how to like press start and that's it. But even with the streaming that I've been doing, I've had to like research things, I've had to like research like the latest, equipment, you know what I mean? Learn about like a headset with like the microphone, what kind of audio and stuff like that, you know? So, it's all about like you said, like always learning, and then just being smart about your investments, like saving up your dough, your blessings, and then using that to make your shit better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude. It's all it is. It's all it is. I'm doing a speech over for Startup Weekend.
Oh, okay.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
And somehow I always get like so my friend, she was part of the crew that did Startup Weekend. So I made 2 radio commercials for them.
Oh.
And nice. She's like, you know how to make radio commercials? I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'll try. Let's do it. And we fucking made 2 like really good radio commercials. Really? And one of them we got extremely drunk. Got all our friends together, got extremely drunk, and we made this commercial. And it sounds like we're not drunk. It's beautiful.
But you told me I'm gonna expose him. Be like, did you know?
Did you know
that he was drunk there? Well, yeah, those are cool. Actually, my girlfriend, she used to help out with those things.
Really? Startup Weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she like would drag me into it,
And they're really cool.
They
the whole concept of it.
Yep.
Getting people together to like brainstorm.
Yeah.
And put out shitty ideas.
Oh yeah.
And put out good ideas.
Yep.
Choose which one's the best.
Yep.
Because not everyone's gonna be winners in this life. No. Not everyone's gonna have a badass idea.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's cool when you see someone, their idea didn't get chosen. Like, it's not my idea.
Yeah, for real. Sorry.
Didn't choose that one.
Actually, that was my Nino. We were drinking one night, and he was like, "Hey, boy, what if you just do this?" And I was like, "Okay," but Yeah, but I like those. I like those, and I think it was really cool for me to see the process from just the creation and the thoughts, and the process of bringing it to where they had to present it in front of
Like a
a
panel.
panel.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, whoa, this is some cool shit, man.
Yeah, with the opportunity of getting it funded, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good ideas, man. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
I love those things.
So they've given me the opportunity. I feel honored, you know,
Yeah.
to be a part of it again. I just don't understand like how I keep getting a part of it. And it's just like, I guess my name and my email has just gone from coordinator to coordinator to coordinator.
It's good though.
And it's solid. I'm excited to share. I don't know. I don't think I'm inspiring or anything like that. But I work hard. Everything that I've done in my life, I've worked for it. And some people just give up when the going gets tough.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes all they need is just a little extra kick.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, dude, it's hard now, but guess what? You go to sleep, you wake up tomorrow, it's not gonna be hard. You know, I mean, circumstance dependent, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's really up to you to get out of the situation. We live in a place where you have that opportunity
Yeah.
to change your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the way it is today,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
That's
right?
true. Yeah. And maybe people need that, you know, like inspiration is everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, but sometimes we need to hear the reality of things, that it's going to be a lot of hard work and it's probably going to suck most of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man, you just brought up a presentation at Inspire Guam.
Mm-hmm.
It was a event thrown by Victor Calvo, entrepreneur.
Okay.
Just people speaking.
Oh,
and
nice,
stuff like
nice,
that.
yeah.
And there was one guy, I forget what he owns. Oh my goodness, and I forget his name too. I'm sorry, bro.
That's all right.
It's his speech was the theory of suck or something about
Mhm.
sucking, and everything was just, yeah, it's gonna suck. The
Yeah.
whole thing was, it was gonna suck.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it always gets better.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It does, man.
There's times when you don't know shit and you're like, oh fuck, this sucks. But
Yeah.
it's supposed to suck.
It's supposed to, man. It's supposed to be hard, and that's one thing that I learned, like, through jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? Because on the outside, it looks like really cool, you know, really fun. You know, you get to put on a cool gi, you know, karate uniform and look really cool,
Yeah.
you know, look badass. But when you go and train, it sucks, dude. It's hard, you know what I mean? Because first of all, you're learning to move in ways that you never thought you could, you know? So you're working on your coordination. And then, you know, you're learning like technique and you're making mistakes over and over and over again, you know what I mean? Trying to get it right. And then you go into like sparring, you know what I mean? And then like the more experienced guys are just coming over and they're like tapping you out like, you know, every minute, you know? So it's like that whole process is just so painful. It's so grueling, you know, and a lot of people want to quit, but just being able to hang in there and stand up at the end, you know, and bow out, that's the kind of thing that's going to bring you to the next day, you know what I mean? And that's what's going to move you like a lot further, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
Yeah, I just started jiu-jitsu this year.
oh
And
yeah.
then, I was doing it for about 3 or 4 months, and then it was one of those things where I added to my life, but
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't complete the stuff I added before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, so I
yeah.
had to cut it out for a few
Mhm.
months. And my first day back was today.
Dude,
And I
that's
got
good.
mopped up, dude.
But that's good.
I got my
too.
ass beat.
That's good. I'm glad
Every
you said
single
that.
time. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, again.
It happens.
Found myself in between this dude's ass, and it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, for real. You gotta tap out. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's good. That's good, man. And you have to get in there, and you have to go through those things. You know, because just like you know, our professor says, you're not gonna die. You know what I mean? But you might feel like you're pretty close to it when you're in there. But just making those conscious efforts and choices to continue to keep working and continue to keep fighting.
Yeah.
You know, if you take that and if you apply it to your real life,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of things are going to run a lot smoother.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not like a magical thing. You're not learning the 1-inch punch. You know, you're not learning like the Eagle Claw death grip. You know what I'm saying? You're not like reading the self-help book and feeling like the next day when you open your eyes, you're going to be like a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the realistic approach and learning and struggling that's going to get you there. You know what I mean?
How long you been doing it for?
I've been training jiu-jitsu since July 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like what, 11 years, maybe
Right.
about 10, 11 years. So yeah, man, it was the best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever made, like with my life.
And dude, that is a common story amongst a lot of jiu-jitsu practitioners that I've had the opportunity to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, throughout the belt levels,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yep.
I mean, I'm yet to understand. I mean, I'm just a white belt, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm very curious, you know, and
Yeah.
I feel like jiu-jitsu is for the curious mind,
Yeah.
because now you're thinking, fuck, I got caught in that. How do I get myself out of it? And then
Yeah.
you start looking at the other two guys rolling. It's like, okay, they're in the same position I was sort of in. Like, how is he
Yup.
getting out of it?
Yeah.
So it's like you're constantly learning everywhere you look.
Forever. learning.
Yeah. And
Yep.
whether it's inside or outside, it's an internal and external thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the martial arts, you know, you learn those things, you know, and like, it's good because I say it completes the balance, right?
Okay.
So I think that everybody has like a balance, like whether you wanted to put it in like a religious, you know, way or just like a spiritual kind of way. But everything happens to me in like mind, body, and spirit. You know what I mean? I think that every person should do things to progress in each of those areas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that doing something like the martial arts, you know, just off the bat, it's already going to be good for your health, you know, and you're going to like, you know, get more healthy, you know what I mean? You're going to like stretch, you're going to sweat, you're going to breathe, you know, for your like mindset, you know, it's going to teach you like persistence, you know, it's going to expand your mind. You're going to like learn a lot, you know what I mean? You're going to like recognize things through the training that are going to help you like on the outside, you know, and then it helps you in like a spiritual sense too, you know what I mean? Because you're cultivating that spirit of like not giving up, you know what I mean? Like no surrender, or even when to step away from the battle.
When to
you
tap.
know what I mean? Yeah, when to tap,
Yeah.
you know, work on your ego.
Yeah, work on
stuff
your
like,
ego.
yeah, you know, like
I'll never tap.
Yeah. Yeah, you have those guys, man. You have those guys that come in and they go buck wild, but then you have like your green belt 14-year-old girl that's doing the adult class because she's badass,
Mm-hmm.
choking those guys out, you know what I mean? And the next day you don't see them, you know, and then you do see some, and that's how you know like that's the person that's ready to learn. You know what I mean? Because they're just not like, oh, I'm just going to go do something else.
Right.
I'm never going to get better like this, you know.
Right.
But some people just drop that to the side and come back and they
Almost
just take it
reminds
from
me of
there.
a karate movie where the student is just starting to learn,
Yeah.
and this sensei is giving him a whole bunch of tasks that don't really matter to
Mm-hmm.
you know, like
Yeah.
to the fight or to the art.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you making me do all this? Why are you picking eggs? Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Carrying water jugs.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
And it's cool to go through the battle, fail, but then find moments where you do succeed,
Mhm.
even if it's a small part of the battle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You lost in the end,
Yeah.
but there was something that you won
Mm-hmm.
that you previously lost.
Yes.
And it was cool. It's cool. I mean, in my sort of young time, small amount of time that I've been doing it, it's cool to sort of experience that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, man. So jiu-jitsu is just like a really positive thing, you know, and I think everybody should give it a shot. I feel like I invite people to jiu-jitsu more than like church or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm always just like welcoming people in, you know.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to give it a shot because, you know, it's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah, but it's crazy how it has that sort of intimidation factor to it.
It does.
Maybe it's the uniform, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because a lot of dudes are shredded when
Shredded, bro. Yeah. I think maybe that's why it's easy for me because, you know what I mean? I'm like this big, like, cuddly dude, like, oh, come in and train, you know? And then once I, like, get them to walk through the door, there's all these, like, crazy guys with, like, tattoos and collie ear, all buff.
Fucking drool coming down their side.
Yeah, and they're, like,
growling.
and they're like, damn you, D, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Thought you said this was going to be fun.
Yeah, because that's what it was like for me. Like when I first moved here, I came here with the intention to train jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
You know, I just didn't know where at the time. And
So you knew about it when you were out in the States?
Yeah, I was. It was like, I would say early 2007, and you know, man, I was just kind of like living out my life already. I felt like what I was doing at the time was what I'm gonna do till like the day of my death. You know what I mean? It was like so boring and mundane, just like doing a job, going home, and that's it. You know, going out partying and stuff. And, you know, I'm like in my early 20s, and I was like, man, there has to be more than just doing this. Right. So I had always had an interest in like grappling and like submissions. And at the time in Arizona, the next place was like in Phoenix, you know? And I was like, fuck, that's like a 4-hour drive from my house. And then my mom had just moved back to Guam. And then she's like, oh, why don't you just like...
That's right. Sierra Vista's southeast.
Yeah. 15 minutes from Mexico.
Right. That's right. Okay.
So my mom was like, why don't you just come back to Guam, you know? And I was like, I heard that jiu-jitsu was picking up on Guam, and like, you know, the MMA scene was growing. And those are things that I was interested in. So I was like, you know what? Like, man, maybe this is a sign, you know? So I sold everything that I had, and I just came out here, you know, and I looked for a jiu-jitsu gym. And I went to the Fuck shop, you know, and I met with Roman De La Cruz, and I was looking for a gi at the time to buy. And then he's like, oh, you know, we don't sell any gis here, but do you have a place to train? You know, and I was like, oh man, I haven't found one yet. And then he's like, you know, why don't you check this place out? And so he gave me like these old postcards that Purebred used to have, and it had the map going to the corn building and stuff like that.
The corn building.
Yeah.
Oh man, the historic.
Yeah. And then he was like, why don't you check this place out at a certain time? And then I was like, all right, cool. But you know, I can't find a gi. So then he told me to go to this other place in Harmon, and it was in like a warehouse with like tools and like, you know, like all that shit. And then there was a small rack of shoyu roll stuff, and they had like the t-shirts, and then they had the first gi that they ever made. So like my first gi that I bought was like one of their first ones. You know what I mean? It was like a blue one with like the emblems on it.
Okay.
And then, you know, went home, practiced tying my belt, posed in the mirror. I was super excited.
I love it.
Yeah, dude.
Posed in the mirror.
Dude, I was posing, bro. And then I went to the gym that afternoon with my mom. You know what I mean? I'm a 24-year-old dude walking up the stairs to go train jiu-jitsu with his mom. And then I walked in, and these were like the buffest, scariest looking dudes ever. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I think I'm in the wrong place. You know what I mean? But I was like, no, F this. I'm going to go in. And,
Did I say jiu-jitsu? I meant karate.
Yeah, for real. But as soon as I stepped on the mat, man, everybody was so nice. Yeah. You know what I mean? They were like so nice, so welcoming. When it was time to start and I'm learning like the warm-ups, the line drills, man, everybody really helped me out, you know?
Something about jiu-jitsu guys being killers, but
yeah,
it's like they're the nicest people in the world. And especially the higher belt you go.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
These guys are like, this guy killed me with my t-shirt.
Yep.
But he's like super nice.
Yeah, they were so nice. And, you know, they really helped me out. And I signed up that day. And, you know, I just never looked back. And, you know, I was just really thankful that I ran into those kind of people, you know, because I'm big on like the people that I surround myself with, you know, and I'm non-confrontational, you know, I'm not like a tough guy, you know, I don't like that kind of stuff, you know, like I said, I play video games and I'm an artist, you know what I mean? I'm on like, you know, on the other side of the spectrum, you know, but I really love jiu-jitsu and I met these really nice guys and, you know, they really helped me out. So I've been doing that ever since, man.
So you've been involved with it throughout the evolution of pretty much MMA on Guam too.
Yeah. I've seen a lot. You know, I used to love going to the PXCs. You know, and then like seeing people train for it, and then just like training here, like with the Marianas Open starting. You know, seeing like that from the first tournament, you know, up till now, you know, so I've been able to observe and be part of a lot of things. So, you know, it's really exciting, man. It's really exciting.
How long have we been going for here, Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Man, we've been going an hour and 53 minutes.
This podcast does it to you. Yeah, let's I'm hungry.
Yeah, man.
Let's end this, dude. Let's promote anything you like. First, let me thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of your art.
Thank
I still want a piece to put up on my wall. And
make it happen.
yeah, I mean, I like the latest thing that you did. You posted something, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen him post.
Yeah.
You know, like post up a piece that he put together in a
Yeah.
while, and
Yeah.
impressive. It's just, I just like the style. It's very unique to what people usually do. You know,
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Keep doing that, and just thank you. I feel like it's been a long time coming, just because I've been following you for a while,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I've never met you in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Like this is the first time like seeing
Yup.
each other,
Yeah.
and
I felt
but-
nervous. I was like fixing my I was like, do I look okay? I asked her like, do I look okay? Is my breath? Am I okay?
do I have ultimate freshness?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But so yeah, my thank you, you know, for coming on and sharing your story, and you know, just being honest,
Mhm.
and is promote anything you like,
Okay.
how people can follow you, where to follow you, your
Mhm.
stream. Floor is yours.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would just start off by saying, you know, I just wanted to thank you too, man. You know, it was really cool. I'm really happy that I got this experience. You know, it's something that I was, you know, I've been following your podcast for a bit. You know, I love a lot of the shows, and, you know, it's almost like an honor to be here and to be able to
Thank
be
you,
a
bro.
part of that lineup. You know what I'm saying? So that's really cool. Just as far as promotion, man, you could follow me. Like, you know, I have the Twitch stream. You know, you can check me out at Dojo Dean. I have like Instagrams and Facebook.
I like how your animations keep getting better and
Oh,
better. Like
yeah.
the drawings, you know, like the artwork and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's like keeps evolving.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that, just real quick, is that I actually come up with like a lot of the base sketches, but I throw them out to like other local artists, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, can you help me bring this to life, like digitally or something like that, you know? So my last one was Lorzalyn Artistry. You know, she's doing like a lot of like, she does like
Local?
a lot of, local. She does a lot of henna tattoos, and then, you know, she runs like photo booths. She does like the digital characters and stuff like that. So I'm always looking to get work out, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I don't want to do it. You know, I'm an artist, but I don't want to do my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm never going to get anything done.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I like
too
to throw stuff
critical
out.
on yourself.
Yeah. So, you know, big shout out to her. You know, it's Dean Blas on all social medias. But if I was to just promote anything, I would just promote things other than myself, you know? And, man, I just want to promote, like, a lot of love, you know, and, like, a lot of understanding, like, you know, for the island, for your community, for your family. You know, I just think, you know, if everybody just takes the time out to really stop, you know, like, listen, understand, and, like, care for each other, then I think we'll all be heading in, like, a good direction. You know what I mean? Because overall, I care about those things. You know what I mean? I care about, like, community and stuff. So if I'm going to promote one thing, it's, like, definitely going to be love, you know? So
I love it.
yeah, man, I just push and encourage everybody to love each other more, you know? And that's always easiest when understanding comes with it, no matter what. So let's do that. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah. This ain't going to be our last conversation. I hope you know that.
Yeah, no
You know,
worries.
and
Yeah, you can invite me here anytime.
Yeah. I look forward to our next conversation. I just want to put out there, we've had 2 storms since our last podcast.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of relief efforts out there for the latest one, Typhoon U2.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not aware, and if you haven't been, like, seeing social media or the news, the CNMI, people forget about Tinian when they say Saipan.
Yeah.
The CNMI was completely devastated.
Yeah.
And anything you can do to help out, whether it's clothes, batteries, water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know Frank the Cranks, like,
Yeah.
did a huge effort and helped bring out, he took a picture in front of pallets
Yeah,
of,
he did, man.
of supplies, which is badass. And it's all over. I just saw a benefit concert. There's a couple benefit concerts going on throughout the next couple weeks. There's a benefit concert in San Diego, I believe.
Yeah.
Leilani Wolfgram's headlining that. It's going to have a bunch of local artists, Austin Saralou, Jason J, Tribal Theory. And, anything you can do, it'll help them. We can pray all we want, but it's really taking the proactive approach and sending supplies and the realistic things to them.
So that's a good thing too. So even with like my Twitch streaming, I actually have a donation page set up right now. And so I have a panel that says stronger than YouTube. That's kind of like the hashtag that I'm using. So, if anybody does want to donate, they can donate through my Twitch stream. You can just hop into the channel and you could type YouTube, and that'll bring up like the links and everything like that. And then there's also like a panel that they can click in my info section. So all of that, the proceeds we're going to use to buy like the items that they need, and then to just find a way to like send them out there too. So, I'm using that streaming platform as a way to, help out with the neighbors up north. So
hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if there's any chance you're listening to a podcast up there, we love you guys. We're thinking about you guys, for sure. Definitely. And if there's anything more we can do, we would.
Yes. Yes.
Dean, thank you.
Sir, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, dude. And we'll definitely do it again. And we'll have headphones next time.
That's cool.
I don't know, dude. God, it's been a long time.
It's okay, man.
You're my first podcast in like months.
I got to break the mics in.
Or a month and a half. Yes.
Yeah, I got to break the mics in.
Dude, I was testing out the mics earlier and I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yep.
Looking at the time, I was like, it's almost time to use the mics. No, but thank you very much. We're going to do this again. And thank you, as always, Matt, Brian.
Yep.
They love you. We love you.
To the homies.
And I love you. And thank you for listening. Peace out.
That was really fun, man. Dude.